Right now, here is what is happening coast to coast across this country. It is day one of the first government shutdown in 17 years, and we are seeing 800,000 workers coast to coast sent home without pay. Monuments and museums turn away school children. World War II veterans had to push their way forward to honor their fallen brethren. And everywhere tonight, Americans are saying they are fed up with the congressmen who dig in and force the U.S. government to screech to a halt. We begin now with ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl in Washington on the shutdown, the outrage, and what comes next. John.
Diane, we are one day into this shutdown and not a single step closer to resolving the impasse. Today, the president accused Republicans of waging an ideological crusade against Obamacare while he rejected their latest offer to reopen just part of the government. Nearly 100 World War II veterans made the trek from Mississippi to Washington today only to see this. The memorial dedicated to their service closed. World War II infantryman James Nations had no idea.
We didn't know anything about it being shut down. We didn't watch the news this morning.
But somebody, not clear who, got the barricade lifted just long enough so they could get in. The shutdown has hit 800,000 federal workers around the country the hardest. No work, no pay.
They live from paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately.
These are real people's lives that are being affected and ruined and thrown into chaos.
I'm getting tired of feeling like a ping pong ball.
In fact, the whole mess started with a twisted game of political ping pong. The first volley a week ago Friday, the Republican House passing a government funding bill that also defunded Obamacare. A week later, the Senate rejected it, sending its own bill back to the House. The House tried a slightly different version again Sunday. The Senate rejected, and then back and forth twice more yesterday. And today, Republicans sat across from empty chairs, saying Democrats refused to negotiate, while President Obama placed the blame entirely on Republicans.
This Republican shutdown did not have to happen.
And that's why people all over the country are finding their government parks and facilities shut down.
A bunch of jerks running the show up there, and it's not fair.
We've got families that we need to support, and they are playing with our livelihood.
I think it's crazy. I think, the whole holding the government hostage over Obamacare is just ridiculous.
Perhaps sensing the anger, several Tea Party Republicans told ABC's Jeff Zeleny they've asked that their paychecks be withheld during the shutdown.
Do you feel sort of guilty at all that your paycheck is still coming and some of your staff might not be, or the janitors, the other workers across the government? I mean, is that awkward?
Well, we are working. We're here today, and we've continued to work. But I am going to also ask them to hold my salary as a gesture.
Even the We the People section of the White House website is shut down. That's where people can submit their own petitions. The latest petition, the last one before the website went dark, Diane, was one saying that there should be a law that members of Congress not get paid unless they perform their budget duties on time. I would imagine that would get a lot of support around now.
A lot of people outraged. Shutdown signs absolutely everywhere. We thank you, John.